Okay. Okay, I see. You've joined. I'm not sure if if the other account is your laptop. I'm assuming.
Yes, the other account is my laptop. I'm supposed to show a video.
Okay.
You're supposed to show the slides, rather.
Yeah. I'm seeing that. Awesome. Let's see. Let me just go to the event. We should be live. So I'll double check if all is well. Okay, yeah, we are definitely live. Um, yeah, I'm seeing some people that are joining. Yeah, so guys, for those who are joining, please, say hi, just, greet us, say something in the chat, so that we can greet you back. We'll start shortly in the next minute also. Yeah, otherwise, how is the weather in Nigeria?
It's really hot, pretty hot.
Is it?
Yes, it's really hot. Very
Yeah.
sunny and generating a lot
So
of heat.
in which province are you at?
Lagos.
Lagos. Okay. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've been there, and
You've been to Lagos?
yeah. I've been. Um,
Nice.
yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. um, yeah. I guess it gets.
It's
You need to get used to it a bit. I'm seeing Libuhang. Uh, hi, Libu. I'm also seeing Pavalo. Greeting, Pavalo. Yeah, we're probably gonna be seeing Pavalo. She's presenting in 2 weeks' time. Yeah, can't wait for her conversation about sensitive design. And I'm seeing, Caleb Pillay. Hey, hi. Joining from Johannesburg. That's
correct.
great. Um, yeah, can you also like just tell us where you are joining the session from? I'm in South Africa, Johannesburg, and Tomike is in Lagos, Nigeria. Um, cool. Yeah, I think we can kick off. Those who
Okay.
join us, they will just catch us while we're having the conversation.
So,
And
are there other designers joining live video?
no, I think it's gonna be me. There was someone that wanted to join. Let's see. Okay, Mbumi is here. Um, there's also another guy that wanted to join, but I'm not sure if he's gonna join us on time. Claude Mate from Free Thinking. I'm expecting him, but let's see if he joins us on time.
Okay.
Hi, Mbumi.
Hi guys,
Hi, man. How's it?
good. Just getting myself.
Cool. Um, yeah, we can't see you, by the way. I'm not sure if you are aware. Hi, Peter Ngugi, and I see Dagmawi is also joining us here from Ethiopia.
Nice.
Cool, guys. Yeah, so today we've got Tomika Nikion Campbell from Nigeria in Lagos. Yeah, he's an interaction designer, UX, UI, and Yeah, so today we're going to talk about, design dissonance when form and function collides. Yeah, so that sounds a bit like poetic, but yeah, I think yeah, it's gonna be like a nice discussion. And yeah, so please, guys, engage with us, and I want all the speakers that are going to be having their knowledge sharing sessions, to be able to come and join us as a guest, so that you get a feel of the design community, and also, drop your questions, drop your comments. I'll be sharing them. I'll display them on the screen. And yeah, if you do want to present a topic, please feel free to reach out. And yeah, this is a platform for all of us to share and to to empower each other, to connect and inspire each other. And I want us to use a lot of examples that come from our African countries. I want to hear more about the startups, the products that are being produced in Africa. I want to hear about amazing work that is being done by the companies that are based in Africa. So yeah, as much as we can talk about design, I want us to take this opportunity to educate each other, to expose, the hidden talent that is in Africa, and we can only do so, through the local designers based in the, in the relevant, African countries. So yeah, having said that, I'm gonna hand over to Tomike.
Okay, good day, everyone. It's nice to be here. Um, Thank you, Mr. Mutumi, for this opportunity to talk about design dissonance when form and function collide. Please, I'd like to know if you can hear me clearly. Yeah.
Yeah, so can you please just try to raise your voice?
Okay. Let's try to speak into my mouth. Okay, so yeah. So guys, my name is Campbell Tomike Nikion, a UI UX interaction designer from Lagos, Nigeria. Um, so today I'll be talking about design dissonance when form and function collide. So without further ado, let's dive into it. What is design dissonance? It is a musical term. It means when things are not in harmony, right? Now let's bring it back to the design field. Design dissonance occurs when a product or service sends out cognitive signals that run counter to the desired effect. Now, what do we mean by this? It means that in the strictest sense of term, design dissonance often relates to usability. It means when a design somehow pushes the user in the wrong direction in terms of both understanding and action. In a much broader sense, design dissonance can create disappointment, particularly when it occurs in relation to a service. So, as a UX designer, personally, I like to define user experience as the perceptive sum of a series of interactions. So, it means that in every single detail matters in the overall user experience. So nothing should be overlooked. Everything is essential and has to be deliberate. Now, this series of interaction contributes to the overall experience, like I said. So my goal in sharing my thoughts on design dissonance is to help us avoid creating negative interactions that would harm, the overall user experience. Um, so there are 5 kinds of design dissonance. So there is graphic elements that mislead. There's also shapes and sizes that mislead, words that mislead or create inappropriate associations, actions, colors, or elements that don't easily cross cultural boundaries. Finally, functionality that runs counter to users' expectations. Now we'll be addressing this, in a sequence. So this is a clear example. Now this is a product. The heading says bath salts, not tea to drink, right? Now, we can see clearly in this picture that there's a picture of a lady drinking tea. Now, this product, this product is what you put in a bathtub to help you relax, soften your skin, and make you smell good. Now, these bath salts were made from green tea and milk. Now, the problem is the packet actually shows a profile of a woman drinking a cup of tea. From the art director's point of view, this might be understandable. Both tea and milk are things you drink, right? But these are bath salts, actually. So the manufacturer has thoughtfully added a disclaimer. If you look closely, there's a disclaimer there that says not food at the bottom of the packet. But the illustration of the packet is a great example of design that defies all common logic. So the question is, why send out signals that can create a problem that has the potential to make people very sick? Looking at this design, for example, you can pick this up and put it in your basket thinking, oh, this is green tea. Especially because of the illustration, of the lady drinking the tea, when this is not supposed to be edible.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely, because, knowing how lazy we are,
Yes.
I would definitely just look at the image and, think that this is green tea, and, the rest, I'll probably, like, I hope that it won't, be dangerous to my health. And I hope that, if I take a sip, that first sip would be like horrible enough for me to like, hey, whatever, and hope I want like I want pour milk and sugar and other things, to sweeten the taste. Sure.
Yeah. So this is a good example, and this is actually going to cause more harm than good. You understand? So that's one example of graphics that mislead. It just misleads the user to think it is something. This is another example. So this product says mango chutney, right? But is it mango or is it made from mango? That's the question. So this product is actually made primarily of pineapple. To be fair, if you read the list of ingredients carefully, you find that there's a little bit of mango in the mix. However, thinking in terms of design dissonance, calling a product mango when it's actually made from another fruit is quite odd, if you ask me. I mean, why not just call it product, rather pineapple chutney, when it is primarily made from pineapple? You understand? So it's when you taste it and it's tasting more like pineapple instead of mango, you begin to get confused. So the text and the picture is quite misleading again. So these are product examples of design dissonance. Now, if we bring that to UX, the UX field, for example, a user, let's say there's a button on an e-commerce site that is saying add to cart, and when the user clicks that button, it's supposed to take the user to the cart. But if that button takes the user to, let's say, checkout page, it's going to cause some confusion because I shouldn't be here. This is not where I click. This is not where this button should take me to. So that adds to the overall user experience. Every little thing counts.
Yeah. So, I mean, this example, it's it makes me to question a lot of things, right? I know people are into the business of making money, and it's easy to think that it's okay to label this as a mango chutney because maybe you think that's what people are looking for. But in reality is that once you've bought the product and you love it, you're gonna keep coming because you are loving the product, not necessarily that it's called mango chutney. And
Yes.
because being mischievous and misleading, customers, because that at the end of the day, they have to, taste this chutney, and if they hate it, they'll probably tell everyone that, hey, this mango chutney is horrible.
Exactly.
And I think it's also even if this mango chutney is an awesome product, it tastes nice, because it's dominated by pineapple, you might think that it's a horrible product because you are selling it as a mango chutney, and
Yes.
that lack of honesty that is misleading is actually, making you to lose customers, making customers to distrust you. And as much as we, because like I'd love us to talk a bit, at some point about the dark patterns, right? And
Yeah.
someone can say, hey, we've designed this thing in this way, and this is our intent, and we've done this thing with a good heart, or they can actually intentionally do this thing, this
True.
way to fool people, right? Because,
True.
people are buying it because they're thinking it's mango. But anyways, I'm seeing a comment. Yeah, hi, Miracle. And definitely, someone is saying definitely a misleading design. If you ask me, that can have a negative impact on customers.
True.
Definitely, we share the same, views. Is design dissonance related to or dark patterns in design? Oh, great! I didn't see that comment. So like I want us to I'm gonna respond to this question, and please Timoke, just keep me honest here in terms of time, and I want you to proceed, and then we'll take a bit of a break, and I think we can respond a lot more to this question. And also, if you've got more questions, guys, please keep them coming, and so that we can see how much time we need to reserve for Q&A.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Great. Awesome. So let me proceed. Now, this is an example of shapes and size or sizes that mislead, right? Now, you can see that's labeled in some right parts labeled 70% air, 30% chips. Now, it's not necessarily air in this pack, for example. The air we breathe contains oxygen, and a lot of impurities come with it, including water vapor, which can cause rapid spoilage of this product. That's why companies package chips and fill it with nitrogen gas instead of actual air, right? However, most users don't know this. So they buy this bag of chips expecting that the entire quantity, is going to be filled with chips. But it's disappointing when you open it. What greets you is air first, and then it's a small portion of the bag that contains actual chips. So for this now, I think somewhere at the bottom is supposed to explain why this looks big, but it's not actually filled with chips. Let's say nitrogen was added to preserve this instead of just bloating everything. It makes this look at first sight like this is a bag of chips. You understand? But in sense, it's actually more nitrogen in this bag than chips. So this is an example of
Yeah.
how it can be misleading as well.
Yeah. I mean, we need to question this as designers, right? I know companies want to make money, and because a lot of these examples that we're sharing, right?
Yeah.
Even if we are sharing, physical products, they apply, in the digital space as well, because we tend to. So the big issue here is that we want an offering to appear to be bigger than it is,
Yes. Yes.
and we do this thing like in many ways where we give you a product that is perceived to be cheap, but at the end of the year, you're going to pay 20%, monthly, like a yearly increase, and then that amount just like compounds over time. Or sometimes we give you a product that appears to be so awesome, you think you're getting this big value, out of it.
Yes.
And we hit a customer with terms and conditions, which actually makes the product to be like sort of to have less value than it's perceived by the customer. And that's like the 70% air, right? That 70% air can be manifested by the terms and conditions, or it can be manifested by, the hidden costs. and it might be like manifested by the, complex structure of the product, or the complex, description of the products, right? And because especially like in financial services, right? As much as we talk about lays, right? I want us to relate this conversation, right?
Yes.
In our own spaces, it doesn't matter if you work in a financial services space, or you may be working in agriculture, or maybe and fast, moving consumer goods, etc. Right? We still have the same challenges, and what does this mean for us as designers, right? Whether you're in the industrial design space, or product design, or physical design. Anyways, so I'm seeing here, what strategies do you use at the attempt to reduce design dissonance? Okay, so I want us to park this as well. It's a great question. Thanks,
Yes.
and yeah, we'll definitely like respond to this.
So let me just quickly move through. So this is another example. Words that mislead or create inappropriate associations. Now, in English, we all know what "poo" means. So when you see a product named "poo," I mean, already your mind goes through what the English word means. So it's just inappropriate. You understand? Then this is another example. You know, we know what puke means. You begin to wonder: is this product made from puke? You know, and then this is cola. This is actually bottled in Ghana, right? So it's named P Cola. I mean, you would wonder: are you drinking pee or cola? So these are examples of inappropriate designs. For example, what you mentioned about hidden costs. When a user sees a button that says, "Okay, I'm buying this product for, let's say, $20," and then you get a debit alert of $50. It was deliberate. For some, maybe you should, as designers, we should find ways to reduce that by, if there are hidden costs, let it be clear to the user. Let them see that, okay, there are hidden costs. Instead of just you know making or misleading users to uh, benefit of the business. Now, number four is actions, colors, and other elements that don't easily cross cultural boundaries. Now, this cat, for example, is predominantly found in China. Now, there's a tradition, of placing this mechanical cat, in a window shop in China. Now, this cat waves its paw. It's beckoning on potential customers to come inside the shop. That's what it means in China. But in the West, this is perceived as go away. You see the irony. So if you bring this doll to America or to the West, to the Western world, it's chasing away customers instead of bringing them in. But it works in China. Do you understand? So I mean, this is where research comes in. Of little things like this that matter to the entire user experience. Also, American cars in Japan. Now you could wonder what could possibly be wrong with having American cars in Japan, right? Now, the thing is, the size of American cars are not practical in Japan. Why? First of all, the steering wheel is on the wrong side, which can be adjusted, but the seats and adjustments do not fit the average Japanese. If you check, Americans are bigger. The average American is bigger in size than the average Japanese. So the seats, the car has a lot of space that will swallow up a Japanese guy. Do you understand? So it's it's the design in America works, but take that same car to Japan and you've caused a whole lot of problems, which was not designed, for that. Also, the fuel the car uses is not designed for Japan's, low octane fuel, which automatically cause more harm to the car. And then the parts are more English parts. Do you understand? So this, while this was not intended to be misleading, this crosses the cultural boundary. It's an example that crosses the cultural boundary. How colors can mean different things in different countries. This is another, example, cross-border delicacies. Now, this delicacy of chicken legs in China, in some parts of Africa too. For example, I eat chicken legs, right? Now, this other delicacy in Mexico, I don't eat grasshopper. It's irritating. It's disgusting to me, right? So if you come to Africa and package your product, say this is grasshopper meal, nobody's going to buy it. I don't know if you eat grasshopper in South Africa, Putumi.
Yeah, so in South Africa, we do eat the chicken feet. Yeah, so I
Okay.
mean, yeah, like so in some cultures, like I'm closer, and we tend to boil them, boil the feet, and sometimes you primarily like eat the body, the core body first, the chest, the wings and the drumstick,
Yeah.
etc. And then the head and the feet, those body parts are usually given to children, but as an adult, you can, buy those. And then some people, they actually have, a business of just selling chicken feet. And then, yeah, in the streets of Johannesburg, you'd find guys who are frying, these things by the side of the street, with oil, etc. And so, yeah, but yeah,
So I mean, yeah, cross.
option.
Yeah. So, for example, when it comes to UX design, for example, red means different things in different countries, right? In some countries, like South America, Europe, it means love, passion. In China, it's to signify luck and fertility. But in Africa, Nigeria, for example, red will signify danger, violence, grief. So, these little things, come to play the entire or the overall user experience. Now, the last point is functionality that runs counter to user expectations. Now, this is an example of how bad design can actually cause more harm than good. Now, this picture you're seeing here is an emergency exit, fire exit. Now, the way this was designed, in an instance of an emergency, one person will be able to push this door open, right? Now, I'm sure some people are used to that. But this incident, the 1983 Turing incident, now this is significant because the owner of this happened in a movie theater, right? So the owner of this movie theater increased the force on this emergency exit because he found out that customers will sneak in through the emergency exit. So he made the force a bit like it will require more than one person to push to make the door open. Now there was a fire incident in that one evening, and people started running towards the fire exit. So the first person that got there tried to push the door open, could not. So because of the panic, usually two people would have tried to push it, but because of the panic, he left the door and started running towards somewhere else, and everybody followed him. Because he expected the door to open at the way it was supposed to open, which is the way it was designed. It didn't work that way. It has been altered, it has been tampered with for the purpose of the business. Now, he led a lot of people to another place, which some people, about 64 people died in this incident. Now, if you look at this chair, these were the type of chairs in the cinema where the fire happened. Now, this chair is labeled as fireproof. Now, when a user sits on this chair and he sees fireproof, he feels some sort of security, right? But what they didn't know that this chair, when it's in flames, it exudes a certain gas that is harmful. So instead of yes, the chair doesn't burn to ashes, but it gives off a gas that is harmful. And if you check, if you do your research, I found out that in fire incidents, most times people do not die from the actual fire, but from choking from the smoke. And this chair gives off a harmful gas. So while it doesn't burn, it is bad for the user. So in this incident, for example, 64 people died, and this is from certain design decisions. For example, this is supposed to protect the chair, but how about the people who sit on the chair? So when it starts to burn, how do we make this of a material which is fire resistant and also not harmful to users? Do you understand? So this is an example. In
Yeah,
UX design, for example, you see a toggle button, and then you know that when it's green, it means that the toggle is on. You understand? But
yeah,
when you click it and it's green, but it's showing off, it's confusing. Do you get? So that's an example of design that defies functionality. You know.
yeah. I mean, this is a very like sad story, because I feel like there are mistakes, that people can recover from, and yeah, I mean, something like this is like, yeah, it's a fatal
It's sad.
mistake, and
Yeah.
it would be hard to forgive someone, and look, I don't want to like share the views that I want to use to respond to the questions earlier. I know that some cases it's not someone's intention. I'm sure. Well, I would say I would hope that someone had the intentions of trying to protect human beings. And you know for the very same reasons that they wanted to use a fire extinguisher, and not be defeated by something that will indirectly fail the purpose of saving human beings.
True. True. So I'd like us to. I kind of rushed it a bit, so we can have time to attend to the questions to
Okay,
make it more interactive. Yeah.
sure, that's fine. So let me see. I've seen some few comments, and so there's this one. Is design dissonance related to also dark patterns in design? Um, so there is a relationship, but the relationship doesn't have to exist. So what I mean by that is, dark patterns, like it's basically, it's patterns that designers use to fool customers, right? So that they can misrepresent, a product or a solution intentionally, with an aim to deceive them, so that they can buy a product thinking that it's good, knowing that it's not as good as it's not as good as compared to how it's being sold,
Yeah.
or patterns to lock someone in, you subscribe, and then the next thing, you can't easily get out. It was easy to get in, but to find an exit door is very hard,
Very
right?
hard.
And yeah, so I'm just giving a few examples just so that people understand what dark patterns are. They're also called, deceptive design patterns.
Yeah, and I also
Yeah.
think that deceptive design patterns are intentional.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's deliberate. It usually favors the business rather than the user.
Yeah. So the couple of things to note here, right? You might think just like so. This is as designers, we are responsible, to research and understand, the patterns that are used out there. And it's our responsibility to understand dark patterns. If you don't understand a dark pattern, you would think, oh, wow, this is a great thing to do, and you do it, right? And, this is the same topic when we talk about, like, ethics in design.
Yeah.
Until you educate yourself, you might not necessarily know or be aware that, what you're doing is unethical, right? So with design dissonance, if you go back to the design of, to the previous slide where you were showing um, the, the pathing solution, there's an example where you were showing green tea with milk or something, yeah, green tea bath, right? So in this case, right, I would assume that the designers thought it was a great idea, right,
Yeah.
to lead the visual representation of this product by using the ingredients that were used to come up
Yeah.
with the solution. So they are leading with the ingredients, which is green tea. But the solution of this green tea is for you to take a bath, right? And in this case, I wouldn't say this is not a dark pattern. It happens that the designers misled the customers because they thought that, because people think, oh, green tea, it's a healthy solution, and if someone knows that they're bathing with green tea, they would definitely like love to buy this product, and it will somehow make them feel healthy, relax. I don't know, whatever nonsense that they use, to sell and market this thing, right? So there is that like aspect, right? Where a designer has got an intention to market this product, to sell the value to the customer, right? And unfortunately, they've used the wrong approach, because the benefits that they've used to articulate um, this product are misleading, right?
Yeah.
Because when you see the label green tea, you just think, okay, this must be something that I can drink, right? So like I hope there's clarity, okay, that this is not a dark pattern.
Yeah. This is not
Would be
actually.
a dark
It's
pattern
misleading.
if yeah, it is misleading. But
Yes.
definitely, I mean, there are instances where there are dark patterns that you can say this was intentional, right? So design dissonance can have a relationship with deceptive design patterns, but not every design dissonance, or failure is actually is actually a design. Is actually a dark pattern,
That person.
right?
True.
Yeah. So that was, yeah. Like I don't know if you want to add anything there, Tomika.
Yeah. You. I mean, you said it all. You know,
Mm.
there's correlation, but correlation does not always equal causation, right? So it means that the fact that there's dark design, it doesn't mean that sometimes when you see a design like this, for example, it was not intended to be dark. However, it has a dark effect. You understand? So I think as designers, we can be more intentional, because before this is let out to the public, I mean, we should also think about the pros and cons, especially if this is ingested, that can cause harm to the user.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I see Mbumi is back, has joined us. Hi, Mbumi. Oh, okay, cool. Now I was
Hi
just like
guys.
messaging. I mean, how
Sorry,
did
yeah. I was moving around, so now that I'm settled in, then I logged back in. But I was watching. I
okay,
was I was watching and listening. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay, cool, cool, man. So
Welcome.
yeah, so yeah, no,
I,
please
I
like jump
I have a
in.
question when you're ready.
No, sure, jump in.
I'm starting to wonder about where the dissonance sits, right? So especially if I think about this that that cinema story. So is it, other than the design itself, right? Do we think that is the dissonance also not sitting in the actual marketing, right? So because now we design the product and so on, and then at the point where we need to market, the marketing is not, is focusing on things, or is taking it in a direction that's actually in contradiction to the value, to the underlying value of the product, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
if the
yeah,
underlying value of the door is to be super accessible in an emergency,
Exactly.
and yeah, yeah, and then somebody markets it in a specific way, or doesn't make the principles or the features, let's put it that way, necessarily understood by the user, so they change them. In the green tea thing, it's like, the marketing team or whoever's designing the packaging does not understand, obviously does not understand the underlying harmful nature of the actual product, right? So so I'm starting to wonder, like, there's dissonance of building in dark patterns into the actual design, into the product, but there's this kind of also dissonance of saying the marketing is contradicting the actual
sure,
product,
sure,
or is
sure.
removed from what
Yeah,
the product is intended to do or prevent.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So,
So 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 so
mhm.
so, so let me finish off with this. So for instance,
Sure.
that door, uh that door could have been marketed as safe as well. It'll keep your place safe from from intruders, when in
Yeah,
fact its primary thing, yeah, is to be accessible from inside the premises.
Inside,
That's
yeah.
the
yeah. Here's the thing, right? So if we as designers, hold ourselves accountable for the entire experience, right? Then that means we have to care about the entire journey, right? Let's take this green tea, example that's in front of us. Maybe our job as designers was to actually to produce, the content, what sits inside the package, and marketing decides that, hey, it's a great idea to have this transparent package and, drop a green tea bath with milk label, right? And um, if, accountability for us as designers means that we need to know what actually gets sold to the customers, and also, is this product is a product that we've designed sold to the right customer that we've designed it for, and is the messaging also, relevant to the customers that we've designed this product for, right? And yeah, sure, you can say, it was some guy in the marketing team, right? But I think, like, if we push ourselves and actually say, okay, cool, when you're designing a solution in mind, how do we envision it, to be marketed, right? And also, for us to even to test, how the product is perceived, even like in the shelves. If this thing is sitting in the shelves and amongst the other shelves there, right? Is it placed like logically in the right, like, aisle? Is it actually, being described like how we envision it, yeah, to be described during the inception phase, right? So, I mean, there was someone who made a comment here. I'm not sure if it was Kala Pillay, saying that, we can eliminate, some of these issues, during usability testing, right? Sure, that is an opportunity, but you need to be aware. Like, if
Yeah.
if 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 you're a junior designer and you're not aware of what dark patterns are, you might think, oh wow, this is great.
Yeah.
We'll sell this product, and you will think that this is ethical and there are no issues, right? And
So
so once you are aware and you've got some like level of understanding, of what design dissonance is, it will be much easier, to pick up, right? And also, yeah, sure, you can get feedback about how customers perceive the product, And if you say, hey, you just drop this green tea in front of them, and you ask them, okay, cool, what do you think this is, right? Then yes, immediately, you might get that feedback, right?
True.
I think there are some design dissonance issues that are very, very easy to pick up, and then other ones like would require a bit of effort, like for us to understand.
Yeah. I'd also like to state that as designers, our job doesn't just end at designing, right? It doesn't end when you hand off the design to the, let's say, programming team. For example, you mentioned something about finding out how users perceive these products. Some of these design dissonance challenges are not in your face, right? So, for example, this green tea example, let's assume this company has a social media page. As a designer, go into the social media page and see reviews about the product, see what people are saying about the product. Because in the end, these are the people you are designing for. These were the intended users of this product. So that way you get feedback that is not biased. It's from real users in real time.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like for instance, this product, you can test it with the relevant, customers who care about their health, you know, and they want to bath in green tea, you know, and already maybe in their heads there's like this promise of like, yo, my skin will get better, I'll glow, I can get like some like capture some awesome Instagram vibes, but anyways, Bumi, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I think this thing is making me think about a lot of things, right? Around design, because I think I think it's proving a little bit dangerous to try and highlight a feature more than the actual underlying value of the product itself, right? Like, like a bath salt is a bath salt. Like, it should be self-evident that this is what it is. Yes, the big feature is that it smells like green tea with milk. But the mere fact that it's ambiguous and you can miss the fact that it's bath salts, or whatever it is, right? It's problematic. It's a design issue, right?
Yeah.
To say front and center, what is this thing? Like, if it's a security door, front and center, this thing is a fire exit door. Like, it's an exit door. It needs to be easy to exit. It needs to be, it needs to be easy to interpret. So I think there's some kind of a kind of hierarchy there that needs to be preserved. I'll be thinking, like, obviously from a design principle perspective, what is this thing, and then what's the selling features, right? And I think that maybe that's something that we're violating in some of these things, especially this one. Say, to lead with green tea as a thing. I think, yeah, you're right. I don't know. I don't know. It could be unwittingly. It could be unintentional. I'm not saying that it was intentional, but because you get excited by a feature when in fact, there should be implicit value in that thing. So if I'm a bath salts person, I'll automatically see value, but I should be able to identify the product and then go into the features as I compare one from another, or as I compare flavors and aromas or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So there's another one. Kala Pile is responding to Ayakan Mzimkulu. I think the empathizing phase of design thinking process will iron this out successfully. So that's not necessarily the case. So it's an opportunity. So just like if we go to the, I think there's another example. Like, can you please just like skip through the slides? So for instance, let's look, let me attempt to use this one, right? Mango chutney, that is mainly pineapple, right?
Yes.
So you can, through usability testing, right? Sure, you can quickly, make up this chutney and ask people, what do you think the flavor of this chutney is, right? Then they can tell you, oh, okay, tastes like, it's sweet, or maybe, sourish or whatever, or maybe you might end up to a description that is close enough to a pineapple, right? Or you can present this product and be like, I am giving you a mango chutney. I want your feedback, right? And just because you've been told that it's a mango chutney, you know, you know, you're not gonna question the integrity, right? Um, you can evaluate the taste, whether this thing is actually mango or not, right? And you can get that kind of feedback, right? So the two things, like you can go openly and hear what customers are saying, or you can actually present your mega chutney and you might come up with a feedback that says, oh wow, this is a great product, it tastes nice, and again, right, depending on the approach and the quality of your questions, right, you might walk out of that session having tested the product, and you might feel like, oh wow, those were great results because the taste itself was great. And so being intentional about, because you have to now be intentional about testing, the label of this product, like in order for you to assess, whether the customer will perceive, will receive these things well or not, right? And yes, every designer can go through a design thinking process, and some of us can come out with big smiles and like, yeah, no, I think we're on the right path, right? And I think if you are not intentional, you can easily miss the design dissonance issue.
True.
If you're not intentional, you can easily miss out a dark pattern, especially if you have no clue that there's something called a dark pattern, right? Yes, like there are, techniques that people use, to market, to convince you, to persuade you, um, and then there's a fine line between ethical design and deceptive design. Yeah, I'm happy for you Mpumi, to jump in, and Tomike.
Okay. The design thinking process. Can I see that question again? Did you take it off?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He says that he thinks the empathizing phase of the design thinking process will iron, this out successfully. Yeah, I am. While empathizing with the user, can influence major design decisions. The thing is, the question is the designer involved in every process that product, from the ideation to the design to even the marketing, because at a point where the designer is no longer involved, and then other part of the people in the team, for example, marketing, you know, when the marketing now emphasizes on certain things that should not be emphasized on, for example, making this mango when it actually is pineapple, the designer is not aware of that. Do you understand? So sometimes, while yes, you can, as a designer, empathy can influence your decision. It also boils down to the fact that you have to also check out the product after it is released and say, okay, this is not what I designed. This was not the intention. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think empathizing will definitely help in the understanding, but those insights can be misused, right? And it starts to speak to the responsibility of a designer in that end-to-end process, as you mentioned initially, Tomika. So, so this could be from the insight that we've made pineapple chutney, but the insights from talking to customers tell us that they prefer mango. And and the marketing team could say, yeah, but there is mango in our ingredients, so maybe we should pound mango more, you know. um
Yeah,
so those insights are also open to abuse, especially when we talk dark patterns. So that's something else that I think, as designers, we need to be aware of, and really try to represent the user's best interest in that regard. Fortunately, this is just chutney, but in other instances, I mean, the you know the adverse effects can really be detrimental.
true.
So important, yeah.
Yeah, Caleb Pillay, I wish I could ask you to join this conversation, because I know it's not fair if you just drop a young comment, and it would be great if you were here so that we can like elaborate, right?
Yeah.
So, because I'm seeing again from Caleb Pillay, in the empathizing phase, you would have noted what needs to be prominent on the label, though.
Okay.
So, sure. So this goes back to the usability testing objectives. If you didn't have that as one of your objectives, you know, it will be very, very easy for you to miss that opportunity.
Yeah,
And so what is the intention? Is the intention to taste the how good this chutney is? Is the intention to taste, I mean, sorry, to test the label, right, in context of the product, in terms of how it tastes, right? And yeah, so again, right, there are certain things. So I hear your point. So there are certain things that you can easily pick up, but you have to be deliberate. You have to be more intentional. Just like with patterns, right? If you're not aware of them, right, then it's like, oh, damn it. Oh, okay. I just found myself being trapped. I thought I could subscribe to this product and pay month to month, and the next thing, if I need to exit, I'm gonna be now punished by, paying for the remainder of the period, or maybe paying a penalty fee, etc. Right? So I think, like, yes, there's definitely an opportunity, right? So there's someone, like, I want to respond to Color Pillay, but I want to bring up this point, because there was someone who was asking about if there are any strategies. Okay, so what strategies do you use to attempt to reduce design dissonance, right? So again, I think the first thing is, like, awareness, right?
Can I give that a go, and chat a
Sure,
little bit, just to follow on
sure,
to what you're saying,
sure.
and also in response to Caleb? I think, I don't know, is that me?
Yeah, no, I think it's Tomike, can you please mute briefly on your side?
Oh, okay, cool. Um, I think what we need to talk to maybe in a follow-up session is you were
Yeah,
talking about test objectives. The test objectives also kind of determine how you go about testing, right?
sure.
So I'm just trying to put myself in the shoes of the design team or the research team that went and did the empathizing, right? We understand that users love this mango chutney more than pineapple chutney, and therefore the marketing team has now overtaken the whole thing. They want to brand this thing as mango chutney versus pineapple. Okay, cool. Let's say that's where we are, but we're still in the room while this decision is being made. I think that the next step would probably be for us to find a way, to your point, to me, to test this out. Like, what's the impact of this thing, right? How disappointed essentially would be my question. How disappointed would people be if they bought this and then they got home and and they discovered that no, this is more pineapple than chutney? Because at an experiential level, that's a decision we need to make as experienced designers,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
What's the cost, right? Especially at an experience level. So I think those are the things we need to talk about. So those like counters. I'm imagining one of those counters at the shopping store there, where you do samples and stuff like that. Just to kind of some way somehow simulate the environment and get first-hand knowledge and reaction from people when they see a mango chutney and taste pineapple, and kind of get a sense of saying, okay, cool, how bad is the experience, or what's the dissonance? I think that's one of the things. And even in the movie theater example, I think we need to find ways to simulate things. Not everything must be tested like desktop testing, like we usually do in usability and in digital products. We need to find room to apply the same type of thinking in physical environments, all right, in supermarkets and so on, to say, okay, cool, how do we best simulate what is going to happen in real life, and then how do we best collect the data, right? How do we walk through it? How do we role play the scenario, etc., and get a little bit more dynamic, if you will, about the way that we simulate, the way that we do user testing. So yeah, that's what I wanted to add there, Mputum.
Sure. No, thanks. Tomike, is there anything that you want to add? I know we've
Yeah,
hit
time, right?
South Africa. Yeah,
Basically, yes, he said it all. He's right. Using both examples, you know. Well, as designers, we have a lot of responsibilities, not just design itself. It's even research. Um, Finding out how, for example, in this mango chutney, how about taking out the label, and give users, like you said, in the storefront, have a taste of this. What does it taste like? You know. So when you have more users saying, "Oh, this tastes like pineapple," why not just name it pineapple? If you don't know what you made, because I feel like the content of this, for example, is intentional. So everything has to, users should get what they expect, basically.
yeah, sure. No, thanks. Yeah. So there's another message here. I believe your design should speak for itself. What it does or it is made for, even in your absence. Affordances can help us solve this problem. This is a comment coming from Andrew. Yeah, it would be nice, to respond to that question as well. Yeah, unfortunately, guys, this is for an hour, and I want us to try to
Yeah.
stick to the hour. And yeah, it was a nice discussion. I wish we could continue with it a bit, but yeah, I think this is an opportunity for us, like, to reflect, right, and to respond to these questions and comments in our own way, and to also think about how can we be intentional about selling a product that is well understood by the customer, so that when they buy that product, it is actually the product that they understand it to be, but not something else, or what they get from it, etc. So yeah, I want to close off by thank you guys. Thanks Mumi for joining us, and thanks Tomika, for the lovely presentation. And yeah, so again, guys, the aim is for us to create an African design community who want to connect, inspire, and build an African design community. And yeah, so I want to see different speakers from the different countries. We've got interesting, exciting, sessions that are coming up. Yeah, from different countries: Nigeria, Rwanda, Ethiopia, Ghana, etc., and of course South Africa. So yeah, and again, I want us to try to use African-based companies in our examples. I want us to try to use African-based products in our companies. it's great that we all know about Uber, but I want to know that there's a great equivalent of Uber in Nigeria or in Rwanda, Ethiopia, Zimbabwe, etc. Right, so that we can get inspiration, from our own African, countries, so that we can gain a deeper understanding of our own continent and be able to inspire, ourselves as designers, and also for the young and growing designers, to feel excited about the design industry, to be excited about the kind of work that we do. I want us to elevate and share our own stories, for the different companies that we work for. So yeah, thanks a lot, guys, and yeah, I want us to continue with this dialogue, from an African perspective. Thank you.
That's what me. Thanks, guys.
Sure.
All right, guys.